Hello everyone, let's welcome to my channel. We are going to start a new series based on your Kendriya Vidyalaya KVS exam of TGT Mathematics. The first topic of TGT Mathematics syllabus is real numbers. So we are going to discuss the types of number. The first number says that is of a natural number. So what is a natural number? The numbers which we are used for counting. In your day-to-day life, you are very used to count something. If you want to count the something, you are going to use the natural number. How the natural numbers are represented? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to so on, infinity. Okay. So the numbers which are used for counting, we say that is a natural number. The next one is even number. There are again two types of numbers. One is even numbers, another one is odd number. The even number. So the number which is divisible by exactly. Okay, suppose if I take 8. 8 is a number which is a natural number, right? If this natural number is even number or odd number, we have to check. So here this number is either even or odd to check. So here if this number is divisible by 2, if the number is divisible, 8 is divided by 2, and if remainder is 0, then we say that the number is going to be a even number. Suppose if I take the 5, if 5 divided by 2, the remainder is going to be 1. It is not equal to 0. It means 5 is not divided by 2. So that number is said to be a odd number. So what is the definition says that even numbers, these are the natural numbers which are exactly divisible by 2. If any number, suppose if I take 16, 16 is divisible by 2. Okay, 2 8s are 16, right? So it is divisible by 2, its remainder will be 0. Okay, and that's 16 is said to be a even number. So similarly, if I take the 9, whether the 9 is divisible by 2? No. Remainder will be going to be 1. It is divisible by 3, but if it is not divisible by 2, that's why the 9 is going to be your odd number. The next is whole number. What is the next one? Next one is whole number. Whole numbers are the numbers all the natural numbers are there, but one more number is included in that. So whole numbers start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to infinity. Okay, so these are the whole numbers. 0 is also a whole number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are the natural number, but in the whole number, natural number are also there, but including with that, there is one more number, that is 0. Another one is, next is integers. The next one is integers. So in the integers, integer is nothing but again a numbers in the numbers which are positive as well as negative and 0. In the natural number, we have seen only the positive numbers, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to so on. In the whole numbers, we have a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The next one is integers. In the integers, we have a negative numbers also, like -1, -2, -3, -4, -5 up to infinity, minus infinity. These are the negative numbers, and they have a positive number also, that is a 1, 2, 3 and even 0 also. The numbers which are made up of integers are the numbers in which are made up of positive, negative and 0. So here we have a 0 is also there, plus or -1. Positive 1 is also present here, and negative 1 is also present, plus or -2. These all are going to be an integer number. The next one is composite number. These are the natural numbers, but which have a more than 2 factors. What it means, suppose if I take the 9. 9 is a natural number, whether it is a composite number or not for that. So how many factors it have? So 9 is divisible by 1. 9 is also divisible by 3. 9 is also divisible by 9. So here, for this one natural number 9, we have a more than 2 factors. One is 1, another one is 3, another one is 9. So 9 have 3 factors. So then all the natural number which has a more than 2 factor, that number is called a composite number. Suppose if I take 7, how many factors it have? Only 1, another one is 7. So 1 divides your 7, 7 is also divisible by 7. So there are only 2 factors, but it doesn't have a more than 2 factors. So 7 is not a composite number. So all those natural numbers which have a more than 2 factors. Suppose if I take the 10. If I take the 10, 10 is divisible by 1, 10 is divisible by 2, 10 is divisible by 5 also, 10 is divisible by 10 also. So how many factors we got it for the 10? We got the 4 factor. One is 1, 2, 5 and 10. So here we have a more than 2 factors. So that's why 10 is going to be your composite number. So next one is prime number. The prime numbers are those natural numbers which have only 2 factors. One is itself, another one is 1. So how we are going to see that? The natural numbers which are divisible by themselves and 1, or only have 2 factors, we can say. So the numbers which have only 2 factors, suppose we have seen that already. 11 is divisible by 1 and 11 is divisible by itself, that is 11. So it has only 2 factors, one is 1, another one is 11. That type of number is called a prime number. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, these all are going to be your prime number. So here the 2. So 2 is your prime number. Sorry, 1 is not a prime number. 2 is your prime number. So because it is divisible by 1 as well as 2 itself. It has only 2 factors. 3, it has only 2 factors, 1 and another one is 3. The 5, another number, one is one of the factor is 1, another one is 5. So these all are going to be a prime number. So the prime numbers are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. Okay, the next one is co-prime numbers. So when you are going to see that 2 numbers are co-prime to each other. So if A is one number and B is another number, if I want to see that both are co-prime to each other, if I want to see that these are the co-prime, these are the co-prime numbers, so for more than 2 numbers. So if I take the two and 3, the highest common factor of 2 and 3 is 1, right? So here if the highest common factor of any 2 number is 1, then we see that those numbers are co-prime to each other. Suppose if I take 2 and 4, whether they are co-prime to each other? No. Highest common factor HCF of 2 and 4 is going to be 2. It is not 1. So that's why they are not co-prime to each other. The next is real number. What is a real number? So real number is nothing but collection of rational numbers and irrational number. So rational numbers are the numbers which are written in the form of P by Q. The numbers which are written in the form of P by Q, and Q should not be equal to 0. So then we say that it is going to be a rational numbers. So rational numbers are nothing but the numbers which are written in the form of Q, P by Q. Suppose 1 by 2. It is also a rational number. 3 by 4, because it is written in the form of P by Q form, and Q is not equal, denominator is not equal to 0, and then we can say that it is a rational number. So real number is nothing but a collection of your rational as well as the irrational number. Irrational numbers are the numbers which are not in the form of P by Q. Okay, rational numbers are the numbers which are written in the form of P by Q. Irrational numbers are which are not written in the form of any number, which are not written in the form of P by Q. Suppose root 2, root 3, then pi, these all are going to be a irrational number. So how the rational numbers, again there it may be of two types, that is the terminating and non-terminating and reoccurring. Suppose if I take 1 by 2, if I divide 1 by 2, what I will get? 0.5. It's just called terminating. At some point the decimal place is fixed, okay, so it is going to be terminate. Suppose if I take 10 divided by 3, what I will get? 3.3.3.33333 up to so on 33. So it is not going to end somewhere, decimal place is not going to end here, but it's just values are repeating, okay. So its values are repeating, it means that it is a non-terminating reoccurring. The next is irrational number. Irrational number is always a non-terminating and non-recurring. Suppose root 2. What is the value of root 2? 1.4.1.2.6, something like this. So here the values are not repeating after particular times, or it's not going to be repeating. It is not going to terminate. So value of decimal places is not going to be fixed or like 0.5. So after point its value is going to be reoccurring, okay. So here, so irrational numbers are always non-terminating and non-reoccurring, so values is not going to repeat. But in a rational numbers, it may be terminating, it may be non-terminating, but it is reoccurring or repeating, we can say. But here it is always a non-reoccurring. So after decimal places the values is not going to be repeated. So the next one is how the decimal expansion of real numbers. So decimal expansion of any real numbers, we know that real number is combination of rational number and irrational numbers. In the rational number, we have already discussed this. So rational number is maybe of terminating decimals or non-terminating repeating decimals, or non-terminating and non-recurring. So decimal expansion of real numbers may be terminating, repeating, non-repeating. If it is a number is rational number, and if you want to, without calculating anything, if you want to check whether it is going to be terminating or not, any rational number, if p by q, any rational number, if it is in the form of p by, if in the denominator if we have 2 raised to power something and 5 raised to power something, in that case the rational number is always going to be terminating. Suppose if you have a 3 by 2 raised to power 4, 5 raised to power 2. So it is always, without checking anything, if the denominator is in the form of 2 raised to power some power and 5 raised to power some power, then we can say that this rational number is going to be a terminating. Suppose if you have except 2 and 5, if you have any other number also, if p by 2 raised to power m, 5 raised to power m into 7 raised to power something n, if you have like this, that in that case it is going to be a non-terminating. But if it is terminating, if you have only 2 factor, one is 2, another one is 5, if the denominator number has only 2 factor. The next is product of, if two numbers are given to you, a and the b. So the next one is, if a and b are the two numbers, and if you want, you can easily calculate the SCF of both the number, you can easily calculate the LCM of both the number. If I do the product of LCM of those two number and SCF of those two number, it is always equal to product of those two number. So in how they are going to ask you a question, they may be given your LCM and SCF and they have given you only one number a, so we have to calculate the b. It's very simple. We are going to use this formula, that is product of a and b is always equal to product of LCM and SCF. The next one is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. What the fundamental theorem of arithmetic says, that any integer greater than 1, suppose if I take 10, it is greater than 1, we can represent the 10 as a product of prime number. What is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic say there? Any composite number or any integer greater than 1 and can be represented as product of prime number. So 10 can be represented as 2 into 5, right? So product, or if I take the 6, 2 into 3. So every composite number or any integer greater than 1 can be represented as a product of prime number. That is the statement of your fundamental theorem of arithmetic. The next is, if the first note says that sum of a rational number and irrational number. So suppose root 2, all the root 2, root 3, root 5, these all are irrational number, root 2, and if I add any rational number to it, that is a 1 by 2 or plus 2. So addition of rational number and the irrational number is always going to be a irrational number, and the difference of rational number as well as the irrational number is always going to be a irrational number. If I do the product, suppose 2 is your rational number, we know that because it can be written in the form of p by q, 2 by 1, and if I do the product with your irrational number root 2, again it will become a irrational number. And if we add any two irrational numbers, or if we subtract any irrational numbers, is maybe a rational, suppose root 2 minus root 2, both are irrational number, but if I divide it, if I subtract it, you will going to get the 0, so it may be a rational number. So addition of irrational number, addition of two irrational number may be a rational or irrational. Multiplication, root 2 into root 2, so its value is going to be 2, it become a rational number. So product may be a rational number. So product of irrational numbers is maybe rational or irrational. So these are the few identities you can see yourself. The next one is decimal expansion of irrational number. Decimal expansion of irrational number we have already discussed. It is always a non-terminating, non-reoccurring. So next one is decimal expansion of real numbers. Decimal expansion of your rational numbers. Rational numbers, it may be terminating or it may be non-terminating and reoccurring. So let's see few previous year questions based on your real numbers and some polynomial. So the first problem says that decimal expansion of irrational numbers. So we have already discussed the decimal expansion of irrational number is always a non-terminating and non-reoccurring. So values is not going to repeat it, root 2 or your pi value is 3.14 something like this. So values are not going to repeat it, and even it is not going to be terminating. So irrational numbers is nothing but a number which are not in the form of p by q. Okay. So decimal expansion of your irrational number is always a non-terminating, non-reoccurring. So what about the rational numbers? Rational numbers is maybe terminating or non-terminating, reoccurring. Let's see the next example. If x equal to root 3 plus root 2, then we have to find out the value of x raised to power minus 2. So x value they have given you, that is a root 3 plus root 2. So here what will be your 1 by x? 1 by x is nothing but 1 divided by root 3 plus root 2, right? Because we know the x value. Now I am going to rationalize it. To rationalize the value, just we have to change the sign. So root 3 so here 1 by x is we have to calculate because I want to calculate the value of your x raised to power minus 2, I have to calculate, it means 1 by x square I have to calculate. So here 1 by x is nothing but is equal to 1 by root 3 plus root 2. Just I am going to rationalize it. It will become root 3 minus root 2, root 3 minus root 2. So here we have a plus b into a minus b formula. So it will become 3 minus 2, its value is going to be 1. So what we are going to get, 1 by x value is nothing but going to be root 3 minus root 2. So the value of your 1 by x is nothing but root 3 minus root 2. But what I want to calculate? I want to calculate the x raised to power minus 2. X raised to power minus 2 is nothing but 1 by x square. I know the value of 1 by x. 1 by x value is going to be root 3 minus root 2. Now take the square on both sides. It will become 1 by x square. And here it will become root 3 minus root 2 whole square. So formula of your a minus b whole square we have to apply. A square plus b square. A square is going to be root 3 square is going to be 3, and root 2 square is going to be 2, and in minus 2ab. Okay, formula, what the formula says that a square plus b square minus 2ab. So minus 2ab root 3 into root 2, it is nothing but root 6. So what will be the answer? The answer will be 3 plus 2 is going to be 5 and it is nothing but minus 2 root 6. So the value is going to be option D is going to be correct. So the next one is, so they have given you 2 raised to power n minus 2 raised to power n minus 1 is nothing but equal to 4. We have to calculate the value of n raised to power n. So first of all I have to calculate the n value, right? So 4 can be written in the form of 2 square, right? Now here we have 2 raised to power n minus 2 raised by n minus 1. Which one is smaller, 2 raised by n or 2 raised by n minus 1? The smaller value is 2 raised by n minus 1. So take out the 2 raised by n minus 1 common from this. It will become 2 minus 1. Okay, if I take this 2 raised by n minus 1 inside, it will become raised to power 1 is there. It will become 2 raised to power n into minus 2 raised by n minus 1. Same thing we are going to get. So here I am going to take the common. So here I have taken the 2 raised by n minus 1 as a common. So remaining term will be 2 minus 1. That is nothing but equal to 2 raised by 2. What is why? Because the 4 is written in the form of 2 raised by 2. So 2 minus 1 is going to be 1. Now here I got that 2 raised by n minus 1 is nothing but equal to 2 raised by 2. Okay, base is same and we are saying both the terms are equal. If both the terms are equal, its power must be equal. So n minus 1 is equal to 2. So now take this minus 1 to this side, it will become n value is 3. So n value, we got the n value has a 3. What do we have to calculate? N raised to power n. It means 3 raised to power 3. 3 raised to power 3 is nothing but it's going to be 27. The next, we have already discussed the result. Sum of two irrational number is always going to be a irrational. So this is nothing but sum. So here it is typing mistake, sum of two irrational number. So A is also irrational, B is also irrational. So the sum is always going to be a irrational. Next is an odd degree polynomial. Odd degree polynomial means x cube plus ax square plus bx square, like this. So the degree of the polynomial maybe is going to be 3, 5, 7, like this. In that case, we are always going to have at least one real root. It may be you may have more than one real root because it is an odd degree polynomial. Odd degree numbers, it is nothing but 3, 5, 7. These are the odd numbers, right? If you have a degree is odd, in that case we always have at least one real root. Other maybe are going to be a complex roots, or it may be a real roots also. The next one is, if the root of the equation 3x square plus 4x plus 7 equal to 0. So they have given you, so one of the quadratic equation 3x square plus 4x is equal to 0, and they have given you the root of that equation is or the root of the polynomial is alpha and beta. Then I have to calculate 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. So here I have to calculate the, so already we know that sum of the roots, already they have given you alpha and beta are the roots. Sum of the roots is always equal to minus b by a. What is b? In the quadratic equation, the b is nothing but coefficient of your x. Coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of your x? 4. So it will become minus 4. And divided by a. What is your a? A is the coefficient of your x square. So what is the coefficient of your x square? That is 3. So minus 4 by 3. So sum of the roots is always equal to minus b by 3. So here we are going to use a result. The sum of the root is nothing but into minus 4 by 3. One more result, say the product of the roots. What is that? Product of the roots. Alpha into beta. Alpha is one of the root and beta is another root of the quadratic polynomial. The product of these two is nothing but equal to c by a. What is your c? C is nothing but the constant term, that is your 7. And divided by a is the coefficient of your x square, that is 3. So product of the root is going to be 7 by 3. Now what I want to calculate? I want to calculate the 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta I have to calculate. So I have to calculate the 1 by alpha plus 1 by. So 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. Just take the LCM, it will become alpha into beta. So here it will become alpha plus beta. So what is the value of your alpha plus beta? Minus 4 by 3. What is the value of your alpha into beta? 7 by 3 from this equation. Now 3 will get cancelled. Answer will be minus 4 by 7. So the next question is, the next is the number under root 2 into e raised to power I pi is rational number, transitional number, irrational number, or imaginary number. We have to check. So they have given you the number, that is a root 2 into e raised to power I pi. So e raised to power I theta value says that cos theta plus I sin theta. This is the value. Instead of theta, what we have? Pi. So e raised to power I pi is nothing but equal to cos pi plus I sin pi. So what is the value of cos pi? Minus 1. Sin pi value is 0. So e raised to power I pi value is nothing but going to be minus 1. Okay. In this way, we are going to get the values of e raised to power I pi. E raised to power I pi's value is going to be minus 1. So root 2 is already a irrational number. So we have to, whether this number is going to be a irrational number or rational number, or it is a imaginary number. So e raised to power e raised to power I pi value is minus 1. So what you are going to get? Minus root 2. So minus root 2 is going to be a imaginary number. So sorry, it is wrong. It is going to be a imaginary number. The next one is, if the root of ax square plus bx plus 7 equal to 0 are reciprocal of each other. So they have given you one quadratic polynomial ax square plus bx plus 7, and they are saying that the root of this equation, root of this polynomial are reciprocal to each other. So if one of the root is alpha, another root is going to be your minus alpha, because how many roots you are going to have? Because it is a quadratic polynomial, it is going to have only 2 roots. So one of the root is going to be alpha, so another root is going to be 1 by alpha. So now what I want to calculate? I want to calculate the a value. So if you want to calculate the a value, so we know that product of the two roots is always equal to, what are the product of is equal to, product of the root is going to be equal to c by a. What is your c? C is a constant, that is 7 by a. So alpha into alpha will get cancelled. So a value is nothing but is going to be 7. So we know that product of the two roots, suppose if you have alpha is one of the root, beta is another root, so product of these two is nothing but is going to be equal to c by a. So here what is your beta right now? 1 by alpha is there, and alpha is alpha itself, that is nothing but equal to 7 by a, right? Alpha and alpha will get cancelled, you are going to get 7 by a. So a value is going to be 7. Thank you.